If you're anything like me, your mind rarely turns off. Even when you're resting, you're thinking about what's next, what's missing, what you should be doing, how to fix things. There's this unspoken belief that we need to have clarity all the time about our careers, our relationships, our purpose, even our personalities. And when we don't, it can feel like we're failing at life. But I've been learning something slowly and painfully over the years. Clarity doesn't always come when you chase it. Sometimes it comes when you pause. We live in a culture that celebrates arrivals, the big moments, the decisions, the figured it out milestones. But no one really talks about the in-between, the waiting seasons, the confusion, the fog. And yet, those are some of the most formative places we can be, because that's where we build trust. That's where we learn patience. That's where we get quiet enough to hear what we really want, not what we've been told to want. And when you're introverted, this space becomes even more essential. You're not rushing to explain yourself to the world. You're learning to listen to the slow unfolding happening inside you. I've had days where I've asked the same question over and over. What am I supposed to do with my life? What if I never figure it out? What if I'm too late? And you know what I've found? Sometimes the more you force an answer, the further away it feels. It's like trying to clear a fog by waving your arms through it. The more frantic you become, the harder it is to see. But when I slow down, even reluctantly, and let the questions sit beside me instead of fighting them, something softens. I don't get all the answers, but I get peace. And sometimes that's more valuable. So here's your gentle permission from one overthinker to another. You're allowed to be in transition. You're allowed to not have a 5-year plan. You're allowed to not know what the next step is. Not everything has to make sense right now. Maybe this moment, this unclear, unfinished, undefined space, is part of the unfolding. Maybe you're not falling behind. Maybe you're right on time, even if your timeline looks different from everyone else's. And if all you can do today is rest, or reflect, or take one small honest step, that is enough. Lately, I've been trying to let go of urgency, to stop asking myself to solve things that aren't ready to be solved, to let life breathe instead of micromanaging every detail of my future. I'm learning to ask softer questions. What feels true for me today? What would feel gentle right now? What can I trust without knowing everything? And I'll be honest, it's uncomfortable. Not knowing is uncomfortable. But you know what's worse? Forcing yourself into a life or decision that doesn't feel like you, just because you were scared to pause. So if your thoughts are tangled, if your heart feels unsettled, if you've been exhausting yourself trying to make sense of everything, here's what I want you to remember. You don't need to rush your becoming. You don't have to have a perfect plan, and you're allowed to take your time. Some seasons aren't about answers, they're about listening. Some days are just about breathing. And some growth happens quietly in the places no one claps for. You're not lost, you're becoming. And that's a beautiful thing. Thank you for being here with me, for letting yourself slow down, for honoring your process, even when it feels messy. This is Introverted Realisations, and this space will always be here when the world feels too fast. Take your time. Be gentle with your questions. And know that not everything needs to be figured out, especially not all at once.